revolt. Why? And about what? Well, the U.S. today is quagmired by the shadow government, who they're not shadow anymore since Eisenhower. They now openly control, by hook or crook, assassinations, cover-ups, robbery, grand theft, especially of my Xerox and laser beam, worth billions. It isn't only just I. There are many now that they are exposing the crimes by who did these crimes while they're supposed to be representing the people. Or were appointed, especially a director of a bureau, as far as our doing what's good for the people. They became a power and a law and a secret operations. Noticeably, I've mentioned J. Edgar Hoover was a liar, immoral, murdered, assassinations, cover-ups. Absolutely true. He was the power behind President Kennedy being assassinated, and of course Robert Kennedy, who would have fired him as soon as he was president. Hoover figured nobody's going to get him out of that position, so they used then a hook, crook, and the gun to have control. And Eisenhower said it. He saw that they could even control him. He said the American people have to be careful that this shadow government doesn't have the power, and they're the government. Yeah, you elect whoever and they chit-chat, but the secret power, they're not secret anymore. They openly now run around saying that they can do anything they want, and what can you do about it? They forcibly have robbed my science and inventions. And so our corporation alone is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I don't get any money from that. Light amplification of electromagnetic radiation, the laser beam. It's been #1 for decades. It's my original work. I don't get any honors or money from that. Why? They didn't want, Hoover didn't want, especially an Italian descent man, to get that much money, because the first thing I would do is maybe say, hey, I have enough money for my own campaign. And if I was the or one of the leaders, the first thing I would do is to fire Hoover. In fact, bring him to trial for murder, assassinations, genocide. Hoover used genocide, and they're doing that right now. Hoover did it to my family, and me and my family, and they're doing it. Bush, George W. Bush, who said, yeah, the Bushes should rule because he's connected with royalty in England, so they should govern here. So they have the Bush Hoover. So I call it the King George. Queen Hoover, he was immoral, pedophiliac. King George, Queen Hoover, they have their system. It's not democracy, it's hypocrisy. They are revolting in the laws of God and man. You understand? The present King George, Queen Hoover, the Hoovers, they continue what he was doing, the Hoovers. And the senior power appears to be George W. Bush Sr. Now, they are revolting against the laws of God and man, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Civil Rights. They don't care about that. They want that power and the money and the money and the power, and that's what they have control of. A revolting situation. We have to revolt against this revolting quagmire that the 52% plus of the American people say that our government doesn't really represent them. You understand? We have to revolt against that revolting quagmire they forced us into, in which they have power by hook, crook, and the gun, and cover-ups, and then now openly that's what way they do it, and that's the way it's being done, and they even laugh at me and say, well, what can you do about it? So they throw quantity at you, figuring, yeah, we're wrong, but we throw quantity at you, keep you so busy, keep you anonymous. So where every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So I'm being forced. I have 4 programs. Preacher Doc, my program in the discipline of theology. Doc C, PhD company, of which this is the video I'm bringing out today, right now. Expose editor, in which I look at what the true facts are and analyze and then sort of summarize and present them. I don't write. For instance, one of the main things I mentioned is I don't write what Johnson's girlfriend said about the assassination of Kennedy. She's been on and wrote a book or been in part of movies or definitely on TV where she said, yeah, he definitely told me the night before that Kennedy would be out tomorrow. That would be ended. He'd be out. And Johnson, there in Texas, he would take over. I didn't write that. That's a true fact that she says in prints. And she is one of the few that have survived. A lot of witnesses were shot and somehow mysteriously died. It's another true fact. You understand? So that's why I say we have to revolt against the revolting quagmire. They are really criminals against the law of God and our constitutional rights. And I say I must obtain justice, honors, and, of course, reasonable financial compensation of the money they have stolen, forcibly stolen from me. So they have now an illegal president. That's the true fact. Not born in the U.S., he's an illegal president. Can you imagine the deals they worked out so he could become president and they have control of him? He would take that position, knowing meaning he's illegal, but they can get him there. Now, from the top on down, or from down on to supposedly, it's what we have is an illegal president. We have corruption from the top on down. Now, I have to mention that as to why I say revolt at the ballot box. Let's vote for who represents us. Well, they give us, they're saying now there's no difference between the two. They give us, you hope to vote for the lesser of the two evils. But about 50% of the people don't vote. You understand? About 50% of the people in the U.S. don't vote. If we can get all of those to vote for the candidate we want, we could win any election. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way maybe we have to go after it, where we get someone that will really represent us. Now, then I take and say, well, now this is Doc C, PhD company, and I always look at it in a positive way, intellectual way. So I have emphasized we have an august body of intellectuals in the world. These are real intellectual, good, reverend, and we should, people. And august body, august meaning esteem. real good, revered people. And so from Doc C PhD Company, I present what's good in science, mentioning those who have achieved good in science. And tonight, I've been trying to get where my fourth one is 009. Now that one is to honor and present for beautiful girls. All girls are beautiful by nature. And so I put a little emphasis then of maybe ladies in science. There have been some ladies that they say has broken into the men's club. And maybe in chronological order, you have Marie Curie, who by observation and analyzation and determination separated radium salts from pitchblende. It was Marie and Pierre Curie. And Pierre Curie wrote in a notebook of radium. And tremendous achievement. Marie Curie, about one of the first to be into, say, the men's club of science, of who achieved something especially worthy to be mentioned, of course, in an august body of intellectuals. Say, yeah, Marie Curie. Then there was Sister Elizabeth Kenny. Now, sister doesn't mean a nun. In Australia, I think it's something like a nurse or a bush nurse, or but they would call her Sister Elizabeth Kenny. And she came up with the way of treating polio that cured it or reduced it, while the experts not only would insist on doing it their way, would cut her down because it wasn't their way and she was a girl. So she was able to finally get into the men's club. Sister Elizabeth Kenny, definitely worthy of being honored and mentioned in an august body of world intellectuals. And then there's Lisa Meitner. Lisa Meitner now really is in science, in that she's with the Hans Strassmann Meitner doing research with radioactive, with bombardment, where the uranium-92 seemed to disappear. Well, she noticed, of observation and analyzation, that mathematically, if you find barium, that's Ba56, and krypton, K36, that by adding the 56 and 36, you get 92. So maybe the uranium disappears and becomes two other elements. It splits in about half. And they worked on that, and yeah, that's what occurs. So you have then atomic fission. So Lisa Meitner, definitely worthy of being honored in the august body of world intellectuals. And then you have Mother Teresa. Now you talk about dedication. Here's a little girl that said that she kind of established the law of humanity. All humans are human beings, and they're all got a soul and equal. So the man dying in the gutter is just as much a human being as a rich prince. And he should be taken care of and not left to die like an animal. So she did terrific. And then she won a Nobel Prize award, like she should. And so she broke into the she's into the men's club of being definitely worthy of being honored in an august body that there is. Maybe they don't go around and trumpet it, no, but there is an august body of real good intellectuals. And we honor Mother Teresa. So that's what I'm bringing this evening, this Dominica. I'm being forced. Every action is an equal and opposite reaction. One of Galileo's laws. And that I'm being forced to maybe put 4 videos on each of my 4 programs. In theology, in science, in editorials, exposés of what true facts are, and in straightforward honoring girls, and that all girls are beautiful by nature, and what is good for them to enlighten their life and safety, and maybe a little entertainment. I even get a little bold and practice and maybe hope to hit some of the notes of a tune that I try to croon. And so I say to all those who understand and say those are the true facts, and of course will help, that any help I highly appreciate, and say thank you.